That was Standard Union and Hypocrisy, and no, it wasn't. There you go. That's something we're going to play shortly. No, that was The Slide from Standard Union and their latest CD, their EP, self-titled EP. And we heard Blondes from Admiral Akbar's Dishonourable Discharge. I've got to think about that one. Tell us about that.
How did it happen? Oh, well, basically me and Matt, as the previous band I was talking about earlier, James carried on slightly from that. Like, we did one show with James as The Captives, the previous name.
Yeah.
And then The Captives tended to have this weird curse. We existed for about 4 years. I was the only, lasting member.
Yeah.
And I had about 16 people come switch out behind me. So either I'm just, really bad or I'm just really unlucky.
Yeah. Really unlucky, I reckon.
Yeah, well, we've lasted this long, so. And yeah, it was basically just me and Matt sitting over a couple of pots and some palmers at the local.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, good, come up with a new band name. Hopefully it's the name that's the curse. And there's this old story going back to the 70s of all the British punk bands when they were all sort of getting together and figuring out who they could play with and all this sort of stuff. Some various members of the Damned and a couple of other people before they were in the Damned had this band called Mike Hunt's Honourable Discharge.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I'd love to take that back up, but I don't think it's a particularly good idea. So I'm like, we're all sci-fi nuts. Yeah. Admiral Akbar's Honourable Discharge. That's still a bit boring, so we went to Discharge, and it's sort of Dishonourable Discharge, and it's just the innuendo is just fantastic. I love it.
It is, and it does read off your tongue really easy. You've got to get it in your head, but it's almost like a little story. Admiral Akbar's Dishonourable Discharge.
Yeah, that's good fun.
Have you got a song about that?
Not yet. We are working on a song at the moment called It's a Trap.
Yep.
Though, the plans for that one is to be somewhat, I guess, a bastard child between suicidal tendencies and maybe the special sort of thing.
Well, that would
very, very
be an
bizarre.
interesting, bizarre blend, that would be.
So, yeah, we've never been strictly structured to genres. We've always had, a punk anchor.
Yep.
Sort of thing. But then, we've got on the EP, which is available tomorrow night, there's a funk-based track on there, and we've got some Celtic roots and all sorts of other stuff. And
how many tracks on the EP?
You'll hear 5 songs. It's a bit of fun, the EP itself, because there's all these sort of sound bites and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty much encompasses what the band is, which is basically 7 hyperactive, short attention span musos who make a lot of noise.
The input of that is from you, the sampling side of it?
Yeah, well, pretty much everywhere we go at all times we've got a video camera with us. There's one on us now. Our manager's filming us right now. Yeah. And yeah, everything we do is recorded. So I've always got all this footage and audio at my disposal to sit there and go, right, that sounds funny, that sounds funny. That's not funny, but maybe if I just put a lot of delay on it, it might sound really funny.
Great.
Sort of thing.
So you do a lot of the recording yourself then?
Yeah, more or less. I suppose the best way to think of it is I'm never going to pay for a studio.
Yeah.
Ever. I refuse to pay for a studio.
Yeah.
I used to have my own, but that fell apart. We do a lot of our recordings on campus and stuff like that, and then I take it away and do the mixing myself and all that sort of stuff.
That's the great thing about today. The technology is so available to us. You just got to get your head around it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And let's face it, studios can cost you a small packet.
Oh, definitely.
So tell us a bit about, you've got some more recording coming up in the next couple of weeks.
We're actually tracking right now.
Yeah?
We're on, the 3 of us have broken out of the studio. We're up at AADD Studios in, where is it? In Gumaraka, sorry.
Gumaraka, up in the hills.
This is literally my first time in South Australia, so pardon my geography. I've been here for less than 24 hours. So.
It's a lovely spot up there. It's
it's beautiful.
Not as maybe high as the Dandenongs, but that's sort of where Gumaraka is in our Adelaide Hills.
Definitely. I was very upset that I didn't bring my camera on the way down.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Well, you've got a video camera, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, take some stills from that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, with the recording that we're doing at the moment, it's sort of contributing to our next... I don't like to use the term EP, but our next release, which it'll be out eventually, and we're aiming to call that one "Cock, Spaceships and Dinosaurs."
Oh, great name!
It's a byproduct of one of our band meetings where just getting all 7 of us together at once. It's a horrifying experience.
Poor manager. I don't know how Jess deals with this. How courageous that is.
She stresses and tears her hair out, and then we kind of giggle and move on, and the whole cycle repeats.
Well, definitely, you have a very creative bunch behind you.
Definitely, yeah. I'm so stoked to have this group of musicians behind me. They're definitely way better at playing than I am. So
you'll be coming back to Adelaide for that then.
Yeah,
for the new release.
Definitely, yeah. The release that we're doing tomorrow night is actually this is the first run. Nobody in Melbourne has this at all. We thought we'd do something special, being it's our first time over here, our first tour, and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you very much. Very privileged here in Adelaide.
Get your hands on it, and you can sit there and shake it in the faces of the Melbourne people.
Well, I don't think there's a lot on this weekend, so I think you'll have a good night there tomorrow night. You're going to get up some antics tonight, I hear.
Yeah, we're heading down the street and doing some promo stuff with Stomp the Dog. I think they may have their mascot out with us, and one of our unlucky entourage, we haven't decided who it is, but we're going to plaster them head to toe with flyers and stuff. So come out and meet us and assault our flyer-clad member. That's right. We've decided that it's going to be Kelly. So all the blokes out there, there's a bit more incentive to come out.
So probably in the mall in Rundle Street.
I believe so.
They're pretty well our central streets and very cosmopolitan. Lots of cafes and stuff like that.
So look for a bunch of brass instruments, a guy in a dog suit, somebody covered in paper, and probably a lot of yelling. Like, come over and say hi.
Sounds like there'll be about a dozen of you.
Near enough too. Yeah,
with Stomp the Dog on board.
Definitely.
What's the future hold for Admiral Akbar's dishonourable discharge? What's coming up next? Any more festivals?
We've had some rumours floating around. We are looking at possibly doing a summer tour up the East Coast with another band called King City 7.
Yep.
They're great kids. We played with them at Revolver Upstairs back home a few weeks ago. And what else have we got coming up?
It's more recording.
It's more recording. We're looking at possibly putting out a 7-inch.
Piece of nice black vinyl. It might be coloured.
Hot pink.
No, hot pink.
Wow.
Lovely.
I wasn't aware of this.
That's another good thing about bands, and specifically in other capital cities. You can hook up with other bands and, of course, get gigs together. That's a great old punk ethos as well.
Yeah.
It's all about networking.
Yep, and that's pretty well what you're doing.
Oh, pardon me. It is. The internet's just making it a lot easier than what it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, lots of Facebook.
Yeah, copious amounts of that.
Do you have a website as such, or Facebook?
Yeah, we do have our Facebook. It's
www.facebook.com/AADD band.
All lowercase, yeah.
The Admiral Akbar's.
Yeah, it's too long for
you. We've got the full name as our email address, and
prone to spelling incorrections and all sorts.
Had to write it out for people a couple of times. And, like, they give me these tiny little business cards, and I'm like doing all these multiple lines and going onto the back just to get the email address on there.
So just Google AADD and you'll be right.
Yeah,
come up and you go to Facebook. But if you go on Facebook, you'll be right as well.
Yeah, I'm quite proud if you type in our name, then we take up like the first 8 pages on Google.
Oh.
Hooray!
Now, you had a special type of competition to bring someone over with you.
That we did.
Tell us a bit about that.
It was an auction to, we turned up having an extra seat in one of the vans.
Yeah.
And we're like, why don't we hold an auction online to see who wants to jump in and follow us around? And we've ended up with Kyle, who's sitting behind us.
Say hello, Kyle.
Hello.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad. And, it's just another fresh face in the van sort of thing.
Yeah.
Someone else to pick on.
Well, we thank you very much for coming in. Very entertaining. It should be a great night at Governor High Marsh tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great venue. You'll love it.
Cool.
And,
sweet.
Standard Union, give or take, and Stomp the Dog admirably supporting you. It'll be a great night.
And
4 great
Kieran
bands.
Farrell as well.
Yes, I wanted to ask you a bit about that too. Tell us a bit about that. What's happening there?
The understanding that I have is essentially you're going to have, pardon me, non-stop music. Kieran will be in the beer garden if weather holds out, and if it doesn't, we'll figure out something else.
Because this has spun off a project, hasn't it, that Kieran's doing?
Yeah, he's doing something
Songs
called
for a Year.
SAD for a Year, or SAD, Song a Day for a Year.
Song a Day, yeah.
Yeah, it's
very interesting again.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very impressive that he's been able to write something every day. Like, it's so hard to write.
Yeah,
and keep the inspiration going.
Yeah. So he'll be incorporated within the set.
Yeah,
your set?
He will be doing, I think, around about 15-minute sets in between, like when we're setting up and stuff. So.
Yep. So in between the bands.
Yeah.
Cool.
So instead of standing there watching us like look really awkward on stage, trying to get our gear to work,
Yeah.
you can wander off into the beer garden and check him out.
Great idea.
All sorts of stuff. Also, the show tomorrow for the record is actually all ages.
Yep.
As well. So bring your little sister along and whatever.
Some punk.
Yeah. I'll get him a decent influence.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to play
Lady Gaga.
these two songs that we have here. They're both on the
On the EP, yeah.
EP.
Yeah. That's called the Abridged series as well. I don't know if that got mentioned yet.
A song called Hypocrisy.
Yes.
I did mention it before.
Yeah.
What's that about? Sort of self-explanatory, maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty much just your generic sort of punk. You're conforming. I don't like you. Don't do what you're told to, sort of thing. Like, yeah, we have a couple of those, and then we have some other lyrics which are kind of odd.
Very odd.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you
and
for
coming
having
all the
us.
way over to Adelaide to entertain us Adelaideans.
No problem.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And we're going to play Stomp the Dog as well and Give or Take. But first up, here is AADD and Hypocrisy.